Hey everybody, Susan Garrett here. We're live, and I'm going to hand the, whenever you're ready. You ready? Hand the phone over to Kim. So tonight we are focusing on your success in agility. What does success look like to you? All right? And I asked that question earlier today. You can just spin that around here. There we go. I think that's your... Yeah. So I asked that question. Give me some hearts if you can hear me. Is the sound okay? Hearts if you can hear me. Make sure everything's plugged in. Got everything plugged in. Yay, got some hearts. Okay. So I asked the question, what does agility success look like? And and along that, like, how do you know when you've had success in agility? So tonight we're going to focus on identifying, and it's a lot of mindset that I'm going to be talking about tonight, and because mindset is such a massive part of any sport. So Yogi Berra said, half of baseball is 90% mental. Same thing with agility, right? That a lot of people say that it's only 10 or at the most 20% talent, and it's 80% mindset. So tonight, we're going to talk about a lot of things that no matter where you are in agility, you could be just starting out, or you could be somebody who's already achieving podium placements. And mindset is always such an integral part of progressing to the next level. So today I asked a question about, what does success mean to you? And there's a lot of you that wrote some beautiful answers about your dog, and I'm just going to read one of them, all right? And it was sent in. I might need to put on some glasses for that. It was sent in by Carol, and Carol Brown wrote, can you discuss the line between success of specific tasks, like holding a start line stay or being able to visualize the course, and success in the ring with respect to clean runs? I know to focus on the first type of success, and it's so frustrating when the second type of success is so elusive. Okay? So that's a question I want you guys to think about, and I'll come back to that question because I think there's a lot of things buried in there that we're going to talk about. But first, I want you to think about what I've written out is success in agility. How do we find success? And the level of experience that we have. So I don't know if you can read this or not. Okay, so I want you to, and what I've got written down is your very first dog starting out, your very first year of training, and I don't know if you got into the ring trialing in your first year. My very first year in agility was in 1988, and I got into the agility ring in 1990, just because there was like 6 agility trials in all of North America, and so I had to wait till another one rolled around. So your first agility dog, that first year, how would you have defined success? If somebody says, what does success look like? Now, I know back in 1988, I was quite a bit younger than I am now. So I'm 29, and that was okay, so that was a lot of years ago. So think about and tell me, how would you have defined success? For me, it was that first year, success was seeing my dog just do obstacles. I remember the wow factor, like wow, when I saw her doing jumps and tunnels and going over an A-frame. That was massively successful. Do they want the lights on? Yes. Okay, so I'll take that. And you guys, I'm just going to get around so you can see me. So tell me, with your very first agility dog, how would you have defined success in that first year? Not like as you were, competing. In that very first year, how would you define success? Now, the second year with that very first ever agility dog, think back. Now, some of you are still on your very first. Yeah, that's right, Joe. Joe wrote finishing a course at a trial. So the second year in agility, for me, my goal was to qualify, because I actually went an entire year of trialing, which again, back in 1988, made like 6 shows, right? Yeah, so Susan writes, she freaked out when she saw her dog do her first set of weaves for the first time. You know what? I still freak out. Here it is 9 agility dogs later. I still freak out when I see my dog, my youngest dog do them for the first time. So yeah, that never changes. It's always cool. Ready? Yeah. Okay, so then, for me, then it goes to, not leaving me. Yeah, and completing the course. And then mid-career, guess what? I was looking for qualifiers. I'm not saying these were good things no, not good benchmarks for success, but thinking back to the first time, that's, you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable sometimes back then. You don't really know what you should be looking for, and so you get excited about the wrong things, and that's what leads to what Carol was talking about. Okay, so mid-career with my first dog, it was qualifiers, and guess what? I was getting some ribbons, baby. I was getting some ribbons. So then it was coming home with some ribbons. That was a real benchmark for success. Now, late in that career for my dog, guess what? I discovered the element of double fun. And Shelby was my very first ever dog. She won the U.S. National Championship when she was 10 years old. She competed in agility until she was close to 13. She was almost pretty much deaf as a post back then. So, double fun, some of you have heard me describe double fun before. In agility, when you have a dog that's sniffing their way around a course and just kind of never breaking out of trot, it kind of looks like they might have had a little bit of a lobotomy, but they get around in time to get a qualifying score and get a ribbon. For some people, that's fun, especially if it's early in their agility lifetime. They want the qualifying scores and they want the ribbons. So the dog just qualifying is fun for them. But is that fun for the dog? Is that the most excited you've ever seen that dog? Think about that dog chasing a cat or a squirrel or, whatever gets him, jacked up and excited, going for a swim. That is incredible fun for the dog. So that should be your benchmark for in the agility ring. Now, the opposite can be true. You can have a dog who is absolutely gaga for agility. You take the leash off these dogs that they just like fight out of the collar, and then they're gone. And they leave you in the dust, and they're doing jumps and tunnels, and it's completely without you. They're probably knocking down several jumps, and they're having a great old party. Now, that's a lot of fun for the dog, but it isn't, and at first it might be a lot of fun for the handler because they're seeing their dog go so fast. But eventually, the lack of success and the bars flying everywhere loses the element of fun. So it's not double fun. Double fun is when the dog's charging around the course, having as fast as they can, and the handlers staying connected and being able to negotiate the course even though their dog's going super fast, right? So that's double fun. Both members of the team having fun. So I discovered double fun at the very end of that first dog's career. And it wasn't about qualifying. It was because there were times mid-career where I would lead out and I'd say, okay. And she would go, no, you do this one on your own. I got no interest in this today. And that's when I realized that's just not as much fun. Why is my dog not as engaged in this as I would like her to be? So that's what got me in the direction of double fun. Okay, your second agility dog. Did things change for you? See if you see anybody write any you've got your glasses on, right?
Yeah, it's just hard to.
So I'm just going to get a different marker here. So for me, my second agility dog, it was really about squirrel speed. That's what I used to describe. I wanted to bring out the maximum speed of that dog, not recognizing that It's not always maximum speed, because sometimes that maximum speed creates some problems. So maximum speed between the obstacles, but flattening and pinging down the jumps, that's not necessarily a good thing. But maximum speed and double fun, always, this guiding double fun came along and it stayed with me. Double fun, and so double fun. And now I went from ribbons to podiums, right? Shelby won the national championship. She won actually 3 national championships. But so I learned about the fun of podiums, and so now that kind of became part of the benchmark for success for me. But it was always double fun first. Okay? So, do we get any other comments about as they progressed?
Well, people were just saying that a lot of them have noticed a big difference in their second dog. Well, big difference.
You know, everybody, we all regret some of the things that happened with our first dog, but the thing is, it doesn't have to be that way. My first dog, and some of you guys are probably the same, you got really bad advice, and you did some really dumb things with that first dog, things that you know not to do. Some people, like we've got people in Handling 360, they're with their very first dog, they've never even seen agility. Those people are getting a start light years ahead of where I was with my first dog, my second dog, even my third and fourth dog, right? Because the things that they are doing, they never have to undo. How many of you, with one of your agility dogs early on, the things you did, you ended up having to undo? So Shelby could only do weave pulls on with dog on left. Not, she had this long career. She won several national championships. I could never weave with her on my right, right? Because we did weave pulls back then with the cookie and in the in and out dance. Weave pull dance, right? That's what we did. Okay, my third dog. And this is, I think, pretty much where I am today. It was my goal, again, double fun, always there. But it was more like looking for that teamwork. Mastery. And I would say I didn't get that until my 5th or 6th dog, just because of the things I learned. And I would say one of the big things that for me was learning about body awareness and strength and conditioning and all those things that helped allow the dog to be a better partner. And of course, learning about handling for me was an ongoing journey. And to where I am today, I would say double fun, teamwork, mastery, and I would add consistency. I don't know if I can spell it. There's a T in there somewhere. So it would be these things plus consistency. If that's what I look for and how I would define success in agility. So if you guys got something different, I'd love to hear it or read it. Kim's going to shout it out. When I think back to some of the people who started with me in agility back in 1988, and there's still a lot of them around doing agility, but there were some people that came and had great success with 1 or 2 dogs, or maybe 1 dog, and then they tried a second, and they tried a third, and then they quit the sport. And I remember asking one girl who she said she was quitting, and she had won quite a bit with one of her dogs. She didn't have success with one, and she wasn't having success with her third. And I asked her why she's quitting, and she said to me, "I've won all there is to win." So she had won one big event, a very big event, and that was it. And other people I'd seen that had left the sport, they had won with 2 dogs, and then they couldn't win with their third or fourth, and they left the sport. So here's the thing. For me, early on, I liked the ribbons, I liked the podium, but it was never my guiding light for success. It was the double fun. With my very first dog, I figured that one out. And people would say to me, it's because you've done so much winning, Susan, that you don't care, that you say you don't care. And again, don't get me wrong, I love to win. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. But that is not part of how I define the success. And I believe that is what has allowed me here to still get goosebumps when I see a new puppy that I'm training start to be strong and when they're ready to do more elements, to be able to put things together. I still get excited when I see that dog wee for the first time, just like I did with Shelby back in 1988. So it's when you have your focus on the right thing, in my opinion, no one can tell you what that right thing is. So it might not be this for you, but as long as the how you define success isn't attached to a specific outcome. And I'm going to tell you why. Do you think I can erase all this? Sure. All right. So is there any comments while I'm doing this? This is a terrible board to try and erase, by the way. What was that? Oh, the glare. So I'm going to share something that I learned from Tony Robbins. So some of you know I'm a big-time fan of Tony Robbins. I have been taking personal development seminars. I think I took my very first one back in 1987. I've just been inspired by people who know how to be strategically organized and how to set your day up to be as successful as possible. So Tony Robbins is one that I've seen many, many times in person. Actually, I've actually crewed for him. I've been part of his crew at his events. And this is a great model that I can share. Oh, might have to wait for it to dry for a second. So, okay, is there any comments about defining success in there? You're not allowed to yell things out. Well, I can repeat them. Okay. So this is going back to Carol's comment, the very first comment. And it was, she knows that she should be focused on having a great start line and being able to remember the course and remember to execute and keeping her eye on her dog. Those are, I just love, Carol, that you pointed those things out, because those are tangible things that you can evaluate for your success. But how do you keep from losing your joy, your passion to want to keep going forward when the outcome is, I think you used the word elusive, Carol, which Linda thought that was a great word because she's often used that. So this is a model that Tony Robbins teaches in every seminar. I mean, I've been to tons of his seminars, every seminar he ever does. Okay, and it's a great language. Okay, body language, and he doesn't mean about like front cross, rear cross. He's talking about physiology. And then along here is focus, and along here is language. All right. So think about that outcome that you went, let's say call it a big event. Maybe this was, you needed a double Q, and I've been there. My fourth agility dog, Buzz, who occasionally more than occasionally, he knocked bars. Some people would define him as a bar knocker, but I would, let me just hold on one second. Okay. I would, we have the heat on. I hope you guys can't hear that. He was just uneducated. People would say he's a bar knocker. I would say Buzz was uneducated. He was a product of my knowledge about teaching jumping. He was a product about my ability to train back then. So, I would try to qualify for a national championship, and I would have needed a certain amount of double qualifying, so a jumper's leg in the same day as a standard leg, and we'd always fall one short. And that last one was so elusive. And so how do you feel? How do you feel if you go to a trial and you are so focused on this outcome, or you just want to get to the finals of a national championship, or you just want to, you shouldn't want to win a class, but man, it would make, so how do you feel with that? Okay, I know how I felt. Dejected, frustrated, any number of words, right? So, what was my body language like? What is your body language like when you come out of the ring and the outcome isn't what you had hoped? Okay, so your head's down, your shoulders are slumped, your face is grimacing, and when you get your dog's leash on, you probably play because you love your dog and you don't want them to think that they're attached to how you're feeling. We all do our best to put on that happy front for our dogs because we want to make sure that there's that disconnect. You know what, I love you, buddy, and you did your best, and it didn't happen for us. But we still can't help but feeling this way. And here's the thing, when I was discussing what I was going to talk about tonight with LOH, and I talked about this, she said, remember when I first started? So Linda's been here for, I think, close to between 15 and 20 years. She's probably going to be angry with me that I don't remember that. And this is how she used to walk. Now, when Linda started with us, she weighed, I'm allowed to say this, I got permission, she weighed over 300 pounds. And she started just helping. She just wanted to be close to the dog training, and she wanted to learn. She was a sponge. She just wanted to learn. And so she would, do everything from washing dishes to cooking for camps, and she just wanted to be around. But she would walk from the house to the agility field. She would walk like this. And she said, she reminded me, she goes, you used to be up in your office and you'd roll up the window and you'd yell out, head up, get your head up. And I would have these conversations with her that, and she would say to me, Susan, I'm just thinking, well, I don't want you to think like this, because this is a physiology of a beaten up 305-pound woman. I want you to think like this. I want you to think about how great your life is going to be. I want you to think about all the things that are going to happen to you from this point on, right? So it was difficult, but I got to tell you, Linda doesn't walk like that anymore, and she hasn't for a very, very long time. So think about the body language of somebody who's frustrated, dejected, didn't reach their goals, is really pissed off, all right? What are you focusing on at that moment? Your focus is likely on the things you did wrong. Or, even worse, the things your dog did wrong. Or potentially, the stupid judge, the stupid course, the bad call. Your focus is on the things that just happened that caused you to not have your outcome. What's your language? You're talking curt and boo and there's a rhythm to your language. And what meaning do you give that? The meaning you give that is that, I didn't achieve my goals, and I'm not going to go to the big event that I wanted to get to because I didn't qualify, and now all my friends are going on, and that makes me look like a loser, and, I just want to bring out the best of my dog, and I want to bring out the best of my dog. So what we've got to do is create healthier triggers. So if you know, I feel myself going into that body language. You know that body language is going to trigger the wrong focus. And that wrong focus is going to bring out the wrong language in you. And then you're going to have a meaning that is unhealthy. How does this serve you? How does this serve you to get to the place where you want to be? It really doesn't. So when you feel yourself going into that body language, because where your focus is where your beliefs are going to become, and that becomes a part of who you are. So what you want to do is change that trigger. As soon as you feel yourself, I'll give you a great example. I'm a massive fan of podcasts. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and whoever it was gave the example of people in competition. I think they might have been talking about Olympic athletes. So think of yourself in competition at a massively big event, really, really important event. And if somebody came up to you with a microphone and put it in your face just before you went in the ring, and they said, so are you nervous? What would you say? And your palms are sweaty, you're breathing really fast, your heart rate's really going fast, you feel like you have to pee, and you feel like you're really, really thirsty, right? Hands up, you feel that way? And if somebody asks, are you nervous? You say, oh, hell yeah, I'm nervous. Okay, so when they And it made me, when he was asking this question, I thought of myself at a world championship. And if somebody put that microphone in my face and said this, and this is exact, I'm happy that my answer paralleled exactly the answer of the Olympic athletes. Are you nervous? And they said, no, I'm excited. My palms are sweaty, my heart's racing, my breathing's going fast. They're exactly the same physiology, but they've been given a different meaning. So it's the meaning that you give what's happening. It's not what happens. You just have to recognize and create new triggers. So you come out of the ring, you didn't achieve your goals, and you know, it could be a trigger of, wow, you know, and it's going to be hard to train yourself to do this. It's going to be a trigger of, well, hot damn, I'm not going to this big event that I wanted to go to. I got that weekend off. You know what? When I realized I had to pull Swagger from the World Championship, so he made the Canadian World Team, and he went through this rehab surgery, and I held on to the thought that we're going to get him through the surgery, we're going to rehab him, and he's still going to be able to go to the World Championships. Partway through this, I realized it wasn't going to happen. So instead of like, oh, my life is over, I can't go to the World Championships, I've gone every year as long as I can remember, how am I going to maintain a career in this sport when I can't be at the World Championships? You know what I did? I got a free weekend. I booked a trip to Australia. Woo! I know, buddy. Thank you for that. It was an awesome time. I went whale watching. I just relaxed on the beach. I learned so much. It was a complete vacation. It was awesome. All right? So it's the meaning we give the so-called tragic things that happen in our agility career, because in the big scheme of things, not getting a qualifying score, Swag, how about you go in your bed? Not getting a qualifying score when we really wanted to, that's not tragic. It feels tragic at the moment, but it's because of the meaning we attach to it. All right? So I want you to think about these things. And, you know, when I come out of the ring and I didn't achieve my goals, I immediately go, awesome. I have got a sequence I am going to set up because that sucker tripped me up. Right? I have got stuff I can put out in class as an instructor. My next week is made. I don't have to give any thought because there was some tricky ass shit out there that I'm just throwing into class. So coming out of the ring, instead of being dejected and like, it's like awesome, right? It's not the things that happen to you. It's the meaning that you give to those things. So, you know, people, this may come as a surprise. There are some people that don't like me. I know it's shocking, but it's some believe that that might be true. So I was going to a big event, and I knew there would be people I would see at this event who were actually traveling on our team that I was not their number one. They would go out of their way to avoid me if they could. So I knew that going in, so I just had to change the meaning of that. And here's what I did. So these are people who, if they saw me at a normal competition, would avert their eyes. They would not say good morning to me. They would not be polite to me. They would never congratulate me if I won anything. They would, you know, choose to just us live our separate worlds. And now we're on a team together. So here's what I did. I knew that this group of people were going to be on this team. So I decided ahead of time, I'm going to change the meaning. And every time I walk by those people, I'm going to think of one nice thing I could say about them if anybody asked me. And you know what? Maybe it was, I really love what a good parent they are. I really love the way they can put their hair in a ponytail. Like sometimes I would be stretching, but I had to, every day I forced myself to do something different, because I would see these people, because of 4 or 5 days, I would see them every day, and every time I passed them, I would think of something nice to say in my head. I wouldn't like blow smoke up their ass. I knew they didn't like me. But I would think of, guess what happened by day 3? These people were smiling at me, and by day 4, they were talking to me. I did nothing different other than smile as I walked by and think of one nice thing to say about them. So just change the meaning of what's going on, because that could have been hell for me. That could have messed up my head. These are the kind of people that would wish that I would fail when I would get out on the agility ring. It didn't matter if we were representing the same country. They would want me to tank. But I just changed the meaning of that, and all of a sudden, just by my thoughts and me changing that meaning to me, it changed something in them. So think about this when you think, I know I'm focusing on the things that bring me my goals, but I'm just not achieving my outcomes, and it's really dejecting me. Okay? All right. So I want to, and I want you to think about, I've got another question for you. What is your agility identity? If somebody said to you, who are you in agility? I want you to think about that, because that's going to impact your success as well. You know, we had a girl who used to come here whenever we did workshops, especially if we brought in guest instructors. This person loved to work with outside instructors. And she was really talented in agility, and she had some pretty good dogs. But she was also a bit of a goofball. And in her professional life, she was highly lauded as, you know, a very highly skilled professional. I don't want to give away anything, so I'm not going to say what profession it was, but, you know, let's say it's like a doctor, lawyer, veterinarian, something like that, like, and very, very well respected. But, and I don't know if it was her outlet to just be a goofball when she came to these workshops, but she was the brunt of every instructor joke. And I took her aside one day and I said to her, you know, what is your identity? Because to everybody here, you have no competitiveness. You don't really want to improve. You're just here to have some fun. And that's okay. Nobody is going to force you to take on the goals that I have. But I want you to be intentional about what's your agility identity. And she says, well, I think I've got some really talented dogs. I said, you do. She said, well, I think that they could get to a national finals in AKC. And I said, I know they could. And she said, well, but, you know, and I think I could get there as a handler. I said, I know you could. You're brilliant. So why haven't I got there? Because your identity is a goofball. You like to be the brunt of everyone's jokes. And when she changed her identity, guess what? I think every single year for like 6 years in a row, she was a finalist. And she did get to some podiums because her and her dogs were that good. So think about, who do you show up as? Now, you might be somebody who apologizes because you're embarrassed. And you allow yourself to be the laughing stock. You know, these people that wear the shirts that say bad handler or whatever, like, you know, that they're putting themselves down. And it's almost, you know, again, going back to the fat kid, I'm going to put myself down before you get a chance to do it, right? That becomes your identity. I encourage you to allow yourself to be more. To be whoever it is you want to be. And it doesn't matter if you're just learning and you're making mistakes. Just reframe what those mistakes mean to you right now. And allow yourself to grow into a brilliant teammate for your dog. And it goes back to, who do you think of as when you go to the agility trial? Who do you think yourself as? Oh, somebody called themselves. So in the United States, in the Kennel Club, you get titles, and then to be a champion is called a mock. And I honestly don't remember what that stands for. Master Agility Champion, maybe? And but you have to get a certain number of points. You have to beat a certain number of dogs to get mock points. And I remember somebody said to me at a trial, because my dogs were very fast, and I said something about, oh, you had a beautiful run. She said, don't kid me, Susan. I know I'm only mock fodder. And it made me laugh because she had, and that's okay. Like but the thing is that, you know, every course is different, and every course could trip up a fast dog, and you are the steady dog who gets around and you get those mock points. So never put yourself down, all right? Always expect more of yourself for your dog. Okay, so this is a quote. Can you just zero in on that quote? So Les Brown is a motivational speaker, and you know, I think he's fantastic. He's kind of, you know, you don't really hear much about him anymore because you know, he's been around. You still see his name every once in a while. This is a great quote. Do what is easy, and your life will be hard. So if you're the person who chooses to sit on the couch and eat pepperoni pizzas and drink 10 cans of Coke a day and not get any exercise and just hang out and vegetate in front of the, life is going to be harder at some point for you. You're going to have some aches and pains. You are going to have your body is going to rebel against you, right? So if you always choose to do what's easy, your life will be hard. But if you choose to do what's hard, your life will become easy. Now, this is a great quote. However, I don't 100% agree with it. Because very few people will do what is hard in order for their life to be easy. But I don't believe that only a very few people can have a life that's easier than what it is now. So here's what I think. So, people like professional athletes have the dedication to do what is hard every single day. They get up and they say, this is stinking hard and I don't enjoy it, but I'm going to do it because I know it'll help me to achieve my goals. But there's very few people. However, if you change this quote, if you can zero in on that for me, Kim. So if you say, change the end, turn what's hard into something fun and your life will become easy. So I want to bring this back to, but let's keep it with fitness. So I did a little survey today with Kim and Linda. So I work out every day. Pretty much 6 or 7 days a week I do something in the gym. And I do something different, so don't worry, I'm not like eroding my body and wearing myself out. But Kim and Linda, let's just use Kim as the example. Let's leave Linda out of it, because Linda is a special case, because she's kind of between the two of us. So I keep inviting Kim to work out with me, and the agreement that we have, Kim comes to work at 8 o'clock. She has a place on the property that she lives, and she comes to work at 8 o'clock. And I said to her one day, if you come to work at 7:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you spend a half hour doing some rolling, then I will pay for you to work with my trainer. So you will work with Mike and I. I will give you an hour of paid time on the clock, and I will pay for your time with Mike. You invest that half hour, and then I'll pay you an hour. And Kim's done it ever since. I don't think you've ever missed, have you? She's done it every since. And how long do you think we've been doing this? 6 months you've been joining us? Maybe.
I don't even know.
I bet you it's close. Mike will know. And so on other days when she's here, so Wednesdays or Fridays, sometimes she's here on Mondays, I've invited her to work out with me. And she has never once accepted that invitation. You have worked out with me before when you didn't know Mike was showing. Kim says she's worked out with me before, and that's why she doesn't want to work out with me on Mondays and Fridays or Wednesdays. Because occasionally Mike will send me a text, I can't make it today, and I won't tell Kim because I know she won't show up. But I've been in fitness my entire life, so I can put together a workout program.
There's another Kim that wants to come work for you.
We can do some job sharing. Yeah. Okay, so here's my point. I asked Kim, why do you work out on Tuesdays and Thursdays? And, she gave me a lot of answers, and why don't you work out on Wednesdays with me? Or why don't you work out at home? Because Kim's at home 3 days a week. Last week she was at home 4 days a week. Did you work out one of those 4 days? No.
Nope.
So,
I don't sit on the couch for 4 days.
No, she's not a lazy person. She walks in the woods and she's active, but she doesn't get in the gym and sweat. So, the thing is, because it's work, it's not easy. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. But when Mike's doing it, it is easy. Because he tells us what to do, it's easier. Can you give me that?
It is, I agree.
It's easier because he's got the agenda all planned for exactly what's going to happen. He kind of foreshadows what at the end of every workout we do 50 of something. So he kind of foreshadows what that is. It's kind of a game for an hour, and we have some fun because I kick her ass and she tries to trip me. And so Tuesdays and Thursdays she does work out because what's hard has been made easy and fun. And that when you think of anything in life you want to do, and I'm going to bring this back to agility, why is it that people in our Handling 360 program, they have success? Why do they have success? Because they create a consistent output. You think about another great, we'll keep in the fitness analogies. If you work out 9 hours a day, once a month, let's go once a year. 9 hours a day, once a year. You're not getting in shape. And I might even go 9 hours every 2 months. You're not getting in shape. But if you work 20 minutes every day, I promise you will get in shape. I don't know when it will happen. It depends how much you change your diet or how unhealthy your diet is. Eventually, your body will change. You will get stronger. Even if you keep unhealthy eating habits, your muscles will get stronger and tighter and firmer. And there's no telling when it's going to happen. It's the consistent act of doing that workout every day or 5 days a week. Eventually it'll happen. And it'll happen fast for some people. Those bastardly men. Oh, let's not go there. But it will happen eventually for all of us if you just apply a consistent effort. And that is what happens in our Handling 360 community. Because we've taken what's hard, knowing what to train, we've made it easy by giving them lesson plans, and then we motivate them, because I'm in there coaching and I love getting people jacked up about doing something, every day to take consistent action. And for some people it happens, 9 months into the program, they're a different dog and handler team. Some people it might take 1.5 to 2 years or longer. I can't tell people when. I can just promise them if you take consistent action with a proven program, it will happen. And why they do it is because it's fun and it's easy, because the guesswork has been removed. Just like when Mike shows up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The guesswork has been removed. We just do what we're told and we get results. And that's what we love about it. Tim Ferriss has another great quote. And he says, if it was easy, what would it look like? And this is one of Linda's favorite quotes. So Linda, with our team, we're trying to accomplish something. I don't like to hear the word don't when I get a big idea and they say, or can't. And they say, oh, we can't do that. And Linda says, I'm like Oprah. I just leave the room and tell them, get it done and let me know when it happens. And Linda puts up this one. If it was easy, what would it look like? And so that's the question when, that for our students, when it's easy, it looks like that. It looks like a pre-done lesson plan. It looks like you on your iPad or your iPhone just pulling up today's lesson plan and going in there and just doing something and taking consistent action. So if it was easy, what would it look like? And those things, having the right mindset, attaching the right meaning to the things that happen to you when you and your dog are working together. And then answering that question, if it was easy, what would it look like? Creating something that will allow you to take consistent action, that's where you're going to have your success. So for whatever reason success has eluded you, and the thing is that consistent action will make that success happen so much faster. So working 9 hours in the gym once every 2 months, that's intense action. Doing something every day, that's consistent action. So going to a 3-day workout, a 3-day workshop in agility, that's intense activity. And it definitely will contribute to a level of success, but it can't ever replace consistent action. And you need to be inspired and motivated to do that, because for most people, it's hard. It's hard to get up every day and know what you're going to do, right? Okay, LOH, do we have any more questions? Do you want to grab your phone and I'll take this and see if there's any questions for me? And yeah, poor Kim. Let's hope that Mike's not doing biceps tomorrow. Kim's in a little bit of pain from holding the camera. So Phil's got a new camera set up and it's a little heavier. So. Do you guys have any?
I have a
question, yes? Oh, well, look at this, Kim. Watch me do this.
I was using it to help hold it up really high.
Okay, question.
I'm trying to decrease my time on Facebook so I can get off my butt and play with my dog. But I'm afraid to miss any good stuff, 3 for 5s, etc. How much of the stuff on Facebook goes into the program?
Everything. So the question is, and this is brilliant, I'm trying to decrease my time on Facebook to get out there and play with my dog. And did you guys know that Facebook is strategic about keeping you on Facebook? They have studied the patterns of addiction, and they create a personal pattern just for you and I. So it is very strategic on their part to keep us here. So you have to, now that you're aware of that, hopefully you can change that pattern. It's true. I'll tell you more about it after. So the question is, the 3 for 5s that we post in our, so we've been putting them in the free workshop, and I do them in our students area. We download those, and we put them in our Handling 360 website area where you don't have the distractions of Facebook. Does it help you that you have people you work with and train with that motivate you to train and be creative for those of us that train? What was that?
I didn't know if she was done that question. If it was going to say those of us that train alone.
Oh.
I don't know. It just.
So, I think, and that's the nice thing about our Handling 360 community has grown so big that there's geographical, like there's our main group on Facebook, and then there's all these little groups that they support each other. They live in the same geographic area. And so for me, we have 6 of us that train together, or is it 5? I don't know.
I think 6.
6. And of course, Kim and Linda and I train together the most, and now Andrea is training with us
6,
quite a bit.
Sometimes 7.
And that definitely makes a difference because, for me, it inspires me because I see where they're struggling. And I know if they are struggling, who get to work with me a lot, then my students who don't get to work with me will be struggling with the same thing. So it makes it super easy for me to come up with lesson plans. See, agility isn't just about learning a rote routine. Like, obedience is like that. I love the sport of dog obedience, but it is about learning a rote routine. The judge could call your patterns different, you could get your exercises in a different order, but it's pretty much the same thing. Where agility, if you are an instructor in agility, you must stay current for your students. You must stay current. Hopefully you're still competing. But even if you're not competing and you're teaching, you need to stay current. The sport moves so fast. And so staying current is a responsibility if you're going to be an educator in this sport. It doesn't mean that you have to be competing every weekend if that's not your gig, but you need to be current. You need to stay current because the sport moves so fast and it progresses so fast. Okay, any other questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, so those of you who are interested in becoming part of our community, allowing me to coach you in Handling 360, one of my team will put a link. We have registrations open only until Friday night. So is that like 48 hours or something? So 48 hours. And I mean, I recommend that you, because I can't describe how amazing our community is. So I would recommend that you join us. We have a 30-day, no questions asked guarantee. We will give you every single penny that you invest with us if you join us, and somewhere in the first 30 days you decide that this is not for you, which I can't imagine that will ever happen, but no questions asked. I want that guarantee because I want to take the risk away from people. So if you would like to become a member, the opportunities here, we don't present this opportunity very often because most of the time we are focusing on our community. We just love on our community for a year, and once a year, the question is, when will it open again? We generally open it once a year. We went a year and a half, I think, without opening it once. So it's just not something you can jump into because we focus on our students once we get our community growing there. So I encourage you to allow me to be your coach for the next year. I would love for you to be part of the community that I love on. Thank you to Kim for, you're going to have a great shoulder work for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you to LOH and Sharon and the rest of the team for being on there. I recognize December, Swagger, I know every time we close off, he doesn't want me to leave you guys. We recognize December is a difficult month, and you know, if send our team a customer happiness at clickerdogs.com if there's some way that we can discuss with you what needs to happen for you to become a member. You know, I love the line somebody told me is, when you don't have the resources, you may need to be resourceful. And what does that look like? If it was easy, what would it look like to you? All right. And if you need some ideas, drop us a line, because my team's awesome and they'd love to help you out. Okay, guys, this has been Swaggers saying goodbye. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to go train now. Have a great evening. Hey, we'll be back on tomorrow night. It's going to be, we're going to do a live, we're going to bring on some of our Handling 360 students. If you'd like to meet some of our students, be here tomorrow night. We'll see you then. You're a Kuchenstein.